So if we're looking at perspective and trying to draw chairs with our kite, we can go along and we can construct a chair very accurately using our kite, just following the rules, joining the verticals to the vanishing points, and getting everything in line like that. The problem that we find with this is, as we know from before, we've got these extreme angles from having the vanishing points on page, and then we've also got the fact that here I've put the seat at the horizon line, which is eye level, which in this case also happens to be seat level. So unless you're a hobbit, you're probably not going to often see a chair from this perspective. So because we've got these extreme vanishing point angles and we've got the horizon at eye level and seat level, it looks weird. And so one has to adapt, and from a cartoonist point of view, it's better to just find yourself a reference and work from it. You know, you're never going to look at a chair from the kind of 45-degree angle so that one of the legs is completely obscured by the one in front. You're just not going to do that because it looks odd. So it's better to find yourself a reference which works for what you're doing, and then adapt it so that it looks right. Generally, when you're drawing a chair, you are going to see part of the seat. It's more likely to be eye-level perspective really than, not eye-level perspective, bird's eye perspective than eye level. So you would see the facet of the flat chair seat. You want to be able to, and you want to get rid of that extreme angle so that it looks normal. The same goes with your bed. When you come along to start drawing beds, again, we can begin by constructing it within the kite and joining up to our vanishing points along the horizon line, as I said before. And once again, we have the same problem. Unless you're a hobbit, you're not really going to look at a bed like this. You tend to be looking down on a bed, not with your eyes on a level with the top of the mattress. But just for the sake of completeness, let's just do it like this for now. Here, if you colour in the headboard and the foot of the bed, those show us the bits which are perpendicular to the floor. And then we can't see the top of the mattress at all, but we can see the side of the bed here. But it's not how you would look at a bed usually. So if we abandon those extreme angles, stop worrying about having our vanishing points on the page now that we've learnt about vanishing points and how to use them. We need to rather find ourselves a reference once again, something that's going to work for what we want to draw, and then adapt, use the knowledge that we have to be able to come up with something that works for us. Tracing beds and chairs and things is actually a really, really good exercise at this point, to just solidify what you know, to get the angles now lifelike as opposed to pinpoint accurate but odd because we're using an extreme example. So here we go, joining up our lines. And if you trace enough like this, you get a really good sense of the sort of angles and the realistic look that you are looking for in your scenes as a cartoonist, without having to be a slavish perspective hound figuring out all the different ways to do something. One thing to remember is that colour is always really important as well in showing what surfaces are face on to the viewer, which one, those that are perpendicular to the floor, say, will generally have more shadow on them because the light doesn't reflect off them so much, so there'll be darker colours when you colour them in. And then your flattest, your horizontal surface, obviously has a lot of light reflected off it, so that's usually the palest. And your surfaces which are at an angle to the viewer but not tend to be somewhere in between.